You go 1 foot deeper, you die. Okay? Very important. He needs to know what he's doing to get this deep. He needs to know what he's doing to get this deep. He needs to know what he's doing to get that deep, or he's dead. Okay? Now, that sounds pretty extreme, but it isn't extreme, because it's the way it works. It's physics. So, before any of us can get to the bottom and look for King Neptune on a seahorse, you've got to learn how to dive. It's very, very important. And learning this, and drilling for this, and knowing what to do, takes a lot of your time. A lot of your time. Some of us are wet 4 or 5 days a week. That's what it takes. Of course, a lot of us instruct and teach in different things, but we're either teaching or learning and teaching, and you never, ever, ever stop. Mix in with that paranormal, and it becomes quite a task. Now, the beauty of it is that when you learn when you train is when you learn. That's when it happens. To just go out and do something, you're not going to learn much. It's when you're in a teaching format. And we're basically in a teaching format continually. It's pretty much all we do. We go down to perform a task or an expedition, and to one person it's old hat, to one person it's a teaching opportunity. It's a learning opportunity, it's a teaching opportunity, it's a reiteration opportunity. That's how these things work. So somebody's always learning and somebody's always teaching, and that's really important. It keeps it fresh, it keeps it interesting, and you always learn a heck of a lot more doing it that way. Now, the gear we use is pretty specialized. I love it. I'm a techie. I like this kind of stuff. We take 2 things to the bottom with us. Dive gear that's specialized, such as our communication masks that we have. They're called Raptors. And we take gear that we've made for paranormal, to detect paranormal activity. Now, you can't just take an EMF detector and take it to the bottom. It's going to rupture. Internally, it will rupture. Everything inside, the capacitors are going to explode. They'll implode, actually. You can't do that. You can't even put it in a plastic container and take it down. It's not going to last, especially at different depths. So we have to pressurize things. You have to pressurize them with CO2, sometimes pressurize them with O2, sometimes oxygen, air, different mixes like that. You have to know what to do. You also have to know that if you take something that's this big down at the bottom with you, and you fill it up, it'll rocket you to the surface because of buoyancy, and what happens? Billy? You get hurt. Or, my favorite, you die. Okay? Die. Okay, so, that's not good. So you need to know what you're doing. You can't fill something by accident. You can't fill it too much. You can't fill it too little. You've got to learn what happens when you fill something and how much you can put in. So, we manufacture things. And before you can take it down 200 feet, you've got to take it down 40 feet. And you've got to take it in the pool. And you've got to have all the team members learn how to charge the thing. And you've got to learn how to take it down uncharged. You need to learn how to use your equipment. So, we drill with store-bought equipment, so to speak, commercially available equipment, and we drill with stuff that we make ourselves, such as the sonars and the drones and things that we have, which I'll show you guys later. They're really, really interesting. These Raptor systems are the heart of pretty much what we do. We have to talk to one another. We have to be able to say, did you see that? Just like here. Underwater, we use a lot of signals, but you can't convey paranormal activity with that. You know, you can say, I'm okay, you know, I'm getting a little short on air, I'm out of air, you know, shark, you know, things like that. You can do all that kind of stuff. You know, my favorite, see people do, they go like this, in the cave. That isn't exactly what that looks like sometimes. It's like, you in the cave. Yeah, this, me and you in the cave. Okay, you don't want to do that. So, It's important to be able to say what you want to do, what you mean, because you can definitely imply the wrong thing. So our comm systems are important. Everything we do is overlaid. We speak to someone I call Overlord, who is basically the overseer, the person on the boat or on land that listens with the comm system, that's interfaced with the camera system. So, for example, if I'm underwater and I'm looking for something, there's a camera, and there's a camera feed to the surface that's being recorded, as you would with regular paranormal. And then there's a GPS coordinate that tells where we are. That's really neat. There's time, there's all these things, and there's voice overlay. What we see and what we say, they combine. It's really neat because you need to be able to say at this time we saw this and we heard this and this, and you can go back and forth and so on. That's really, really important. These masks are a big integral part of that. Now, field units. You can't get around without a base station. You really can't. We surf or turf, and we do turf all over the country. You have to have something as your base station. So, in comes the field unit. Autonomous, its own power, 16 IR cams. You've got to be able to run everything. You've got to be able to sample, a couple computers on board. Everything's loaded up with either like Cool Pro or SoundForge, and you can just crunch your EVPs right then. Because a lot of what we do, of course, as I mentioned surf and turf, is land and sea mixed together. A lot of it is. The paranormal divers are about anything wet. That includes the shore. They saw somebody walking along, a woman walking in a white dress, a flowing white dress on the shore. Well, we've got to investigate. It involves a lot of land-based stuff. So, you've got to be able to sample and sample quickly. Just like with land-based here. You don't know where to start. It's like tossing baits in the water. One's going to get a bite. So you do a little EVP here, a little EVP here, a little EVP here, take it back to the mothership, sample it. We got to hit in room A. Let's go to room A with some more stuff. That's what we do. So it's important to be able to do that. It's also an ambassador to where you go. You can't just show up with a paper bag full of stuff in a station wagon. That's not going to fly. You've got to be able to establish some kind of presence and, hopefully be able to crunch stuff on scene. You don't want to come back to people a week later and say, well, we'll get back to you with the data. You want to be able to kick it out now. It's important. And that's what at least we want to be able to do that, because we don't have the time, and I don't think anyone has the resources to travel around the country and get back to people. You don't have time for that. You show up, you do what you do, here's a report. Print it out. Here. That's what you've got. That's important, and that's the concept behind the field vehicle. It's worked from the beginning, and it still works today. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Now, this is an extension of that. I like a lot of screens. Why do I like a lot of screens? You can do a lot of different things. You can get a weather update on one. You could be working EVPs on the other. You could be working audio on one or two. You could be watching TV feeds. You could be doing all sorts of different things. It's really important. I believe in being set up right out of the box. First field unit I ever built, I immediately put in 4 TVs, and that's just how I ran it. Because that way I could do everything I wanted to do. You could sit somebody at one seat and work this camera. That's your job. You can take your computer and you can superimpose it on this one, and you can crunch out your EVPs on this one. And anything else that's happening from a news coverage of what we're doing that minute to some pertinent storm that's rolling through, we want to know what's happening. So it's nice to be able to do all of that. It really helps a lot. We've experimented with satellite uplink and all these different things, different kinds of IR cams, a lot like the police use, so that you can see cams off the dash, like this cam on the dash here. One of the reasons I cammed up the first rig was actually for safety reasons. Because people just love to approach you when they see one of these rigs. They love to do that. And for some reason, everyone feels that because they're interested in ghosts and they've seen Scooby-Doo, they can just walk right into the inside of your truck. Well, you can't do that. They don't know you, and you wouldn't believe it. I've found drunks in my truck. I've found families taking family pictures in the truck. I have. You show up and there's a family in there. They're like gophers. There's like a whole bunch in there. There's like some kid he's eating. He's got like Doritos, and then mom's sitting there, texting her BFF, and then the dad's looking at the screen. So what the hell are you doing? Yeah, you see this kind of stuff. So that's why I put those cameras in there, so that at least you can say, or at least you can see how the drunk staggered his way in. Right? It's got nothing to do with ghosts. People say, oh, you drive down the road and you see ghosts. No. You can count roadkill. It's like a video game, that kind of thing. Sean, our tech manager. Sean's a good guy. He crunches stuff together. Important to know. Your tech manager needs to know what he's doing. You need to be able to toss him a box of wires he's never seen in his life and have the guy look you in the face and say, get the hell out of here. Okay, that's what you want. Okay, that's what Sean will do. The guy hooks up anything I don't know how to work, anyone doesn't know how to work, he can take care of, does a great job. This particular moment, we were doing an investigation of an area where a car had gone into a canal and 2 guys drowned, actually 3 guys drowned. And we had our transducer in the water, and all of the data was being linked up this large dirt slope into here, and it was just crunching everything live. So that by the time we came out of the water, we had answers. It's really nice to do. Really important to have a live person analyzing data while you're getting the new data. Data from 8 p.m. is analyzed at 9 p.m., ready at 10 p.m. You've always got an hour's worth of data in the can as the investigation rolls. Investigation completes at 1 a.m. You got that final report by 2. Done, see you, bye. Have a nice life. That's important. It's good to do that. It's a great role for an equipment guy to have. Do the same kind of thing here. Really, actually, we do a lot of media work. Local media, national media, they're very interested. It's the way to get your cause out there. It's really exciting and interesting. People get involved and interested. It's great for the paranormal, it's great for the scuba community, and it's something we do a lot. We do a lot of our expeditions with media. Our expeditions are chosen, as are our ghost hunts. I don't take phone calls for ghost hunts. We pick and choose where we go. It's the way we do things. We bring media so that they get what they need, we get what we need, and everyone's happy. It's very important. It's a good way to coordinate it, because as we know in life, there's not a lot of time to waste, there's not a lot of money to waste, and you've got to get bang for your buck. If you drop in a bomb, you want to take out that bunker, not the dirt hill next to it. Okay? You want to drop a few bombs you have in a few select places, and blow the hell out of things you need to, so you don't have to come back later and spend more money. Technology. Technology is the fun part. Basically, it starts with a concept. You say, I wonder. I wonder if this would work. I wonder if that would work. I wonder how cool it could look. I wonder how much it'll cost. It's a lot of fun. So, we use technology for a lot of things. This is a first-generation winged drone. The concept behind this is very simple. It's just like the drones that you see in the military. They can be radar drones, they can be recon drones, they can have bombs or laser-guided bombs and just standard munitions, any kind of things. The same with these. These can have side-scanning sonar, they can have downward-looking sonar, they can have different type of Doppler sonars to listen, and you can have just basically a big hydrophone inside of them. You can do lots of things. And what's neat with this one here is about 6 feet long, and it flies above things like wrecks. And what you do, it's like a cruise missile. You're on a boat, you're over a wreck, there's a strong current, and you play it out, and you can set the